Dundee with a stripe down his trunks. At Forbes Field, Pittsburgh, September 11th, 1934. The referee is Al Graybar. This is the third time these two men have fought, but the first time they fought for the title. Vince Dundee on the right. Teddy Yarosuz, the quicker, the faster of the two. Dundee, the harder puncher. Yarosuz wailing away against the ropes. And Dundee holding on. This is the first round of a scheduled 15-rounder. The judges for the fight are Leo Houck and Dr. George Macbeth. That's the end of the first round. In the second round, Teddy Yarosuz was beating Dundee to the punch. Dundee now warming up for the full 15 rounds. Again, Yarosuz beating with that straight left jab. Vince Dundee comes from a fighting family. His brother Joe, the former world's welterweight champion. And there goes Dundee through the ropes, pulled through there by Teddy Yarosuz. It's not a knockdown. And the boys, in the best of friendly manner, touch gloves. Here in the third round. Vince Dundee fighting flat-footed. Yarosuz up high on his toes with that quick left hand. The first time they fought in August of 1933 at Pittsburgh, Yarosuz won a 10-round decision. The second time in September of 1933, Yarosuz again won the 10-round decision. That's the end of round 3. Through the fourth and fifth rounds, it was Teddy Yarosuz outpointing the champion Vince Dundee. Now Dundee concentrating on a body attack against Teddy Yarosuz. Yarosuz wanted to be a fighter from the time he was a very small boy. When he was in the 5th grade, his idol, Pete Latzo, won the welterweight championship, and little Teddy boasted that someday he would be a champion too. He made good on that promise, but on the way to getting tonight's title shot, he had to knock out his old idol. He stopped Latzo in 4 rounds on June 5th of 1934 in Pittsburgh. Yarosuz, a good-looking fellow, wavy brown hair, brown eyes, very white teeth, and a pleasant smile, but he's not smiling now. Vince, as we said, comes from a fighting family. Besides brother Joe Dundee, 2 others took to the ring. Battling Dundee fought as a professional, and brother Tom was a fighter with the U.S. Marine Corps. Vince Dundee is regarded as one of the cagiest boxers in the ring for his weight. This is round 6 of a scheduled 15-rounder for the World's Middleweight Championship held by Vince Dundee. Dundee on the left. Slipped as he went back, down to one knee. No knockdown charged against Teddy Yarosuz. Vince Dundee has been getting stronger. Yarosuz slowing down somewhat, and the fight is mighty close. This is round 13. Both looking to finish strongly. They've gone 15 rough, fast rounds. Dundee stumbled, got right up and continued. There hasn't been a knockdown in the fight. Now they wrestle each other around. They're giving it everything they've got here in the closing minutes of the bout. It's been a long, hard fight. Dundee literally leaping at Teddy Yarosuz. And that's it. It's all over. As for the decision, referee Graybar and Judge Macbeth voted for Yarosuz. Judge Hope cast his ballot for Dundee. There's Judge Graybar, the referee, totaling up his scorecard. As the fighters wait, Teddy Yarosuz in the far corner to our right. Vince Dundee, the defending champion. And the announcement is that Yarosuz wins the title on a split 15-round decision. And the announcement is that Yarosuz wins the title on a split 15-round decision. Teddy Yarosuz, the winner and new middleweight champion of the world. He beats Vince Dundee for the third time, this time for the title.
September 20th, 1934. Featherweight Freddie Miller defeats Neil Tarleton, Liverpool, England, for the undisputed recognition of the featherweight division. November 14th, 1934. Amateur phenomenon. Highly regarded heavyweight, Detroit's Joe Louis knocks out Stanley Parada. 1 round. Knocked him out in Chicago. Joe Louis received $732, and Stanley received $488. Parada is 6 foot 1.5 inches. He was a heavyweight and had an 80-inch reach. He was 25 years old. That's for Joe Louis, 20 years old. Stood 6 foot 1.5 inches. He was a heavyweight and had a 76-inch reach. Stanley Parada was born January 30th, 1909 in Jersey City, New Jersey. He died November 30th, 1983 in Jersey City, New Jersey. Now he stood 6 foot. He was very strong and powerful. Fought from 1929 to 1935. He had 40 total bouts with 30 wins, 9 losses, 13 knockouts, and he was stopped 7 times himself. It was a good test for the young phenomenon, Joe Louis. And he would move on to accomplish bigger and better things. But on that night of November 14th, 1934, a much anticipated and very suspicious-minded fight fans got a chance to see what the world was talking about. A future new heavyweight champion would soon arrive from Chicago. His name was Joe Louis. One of the most well-established names in the 1930s, Tony Canzoneri. He and a few other great names would be fading out, and in come would be some great names: Cisco Escobar, Lou Salazar, Jimmy McLarnin, Henry Armstrong, Lou Ambers. November 16th, light heavyweight Bob Olin defeats light heavyweight champion Maxie Rosenblum, 15 rounds in New York's Madison Square Garden. He would win the World Light Heavyweight Championship. The referee was Arthur Donovan. Raises the hand of Bob Olin and awards him with the New York Sack, the World Light Heavyweight Championship belts. Donovan holds the score. 8 for Rosenblum, 5 for Olin, 2 even. Vote was scored by 2 judges. Olin was victor of 9. Now Bob Olin was 26 years old, stood 5 foot 10 inches, he had a 72-inch reach. Had a record of 44 wins, 13 losses, 4 draws, and 19 knockouts. Maxie Rosenblum was 28 years old, stood 5 foot 8, had a 71.5-inch reach, and won 183 fights. 38 losses, 24 draws, and 14 knockouts. That's actually astonishing. Maxie Rosenblum couldn't punch, but he could box. And it was somewhat of an upset, because Bob Olin wasn't thought of perhaps defeating Maxie Rosenblum. Olin would eventually lose his title to John Henry Lewis. But on this night of November 16th would be his night. He would defeat Maxie Rosenblum. November 16th, James J. Braddock defeats John Henry Lewis 10 rounds in New York's Madison Square Garden. Maxie Rosenblum lost his crown to Bob Olin. Sammy Fuller lost to young Peter Jackson on that card. John Henry Lewis was 20 years old, stood 5 foot 11 and weighed 176 pounds. He had a 75.5-inch reach, had a record of 37 wins, 3 losses, 4 draws, and 22 knockouts. As for James Braddock, he was 29 years old, stood 2.5 feet above 6 foot, weighed 187 pounds, 75-inch reach. Had a record of 48 wins, 25 losses, 7 draws, and 27 knockouts. James Braddock's name was James Walter Braddock. He'd be famously named the Cinderella Man. Lived in Bergen, New Jersey. Born June 7th, 1905. In Manhattan, New York. Died November 29th, 1974. He was 69 years of age at the time of his death. Now, he fought from 1926 to 1938. Had total bouts of 78 fights, 47 wins, 24 losses, 27 knockouts. He was stopped twice, once by the Bron bomber, Joe Louis. Now, June 22nd, 1937, he'd be stopped in 8 rounds. Comiskey Park in Chicago by Joe Louis. He would lose his heavyweight championship crown. But he would sign a deal with Joe Louis. He would inherit 10% of Joe Louis's purses. He would say for the next 10 years was on a contract, but he would earn that money for the remainder of Joe Louis's career. June 13th, 1935, he would win the heavyweight championship belt by upsetting Max Baer, New York's Madison Square Garden Gold. As for John Henry Lewis, he was born in Los Angeles, California. He died in Phoenix, Arizona. He fought from 1929 to 1939. Had 116 total bouts, 100 wins, 11 losses, 56 knockouts, and 5 draws. He stopped once by the Brown Bomber, Joe Louis. October 31st, 1935, defeated Bob Olin for the World Light Heavyweight Championship belt. He was stripped for facing Al Gaynor and not Tiger Jack Fox. October 28th, 1938. Because where he was going to fight Tiger Jack Fox, the doctor had given him an eye exam. He realized that John Henry Lewis had poor vision in one eye. He was basically blind. So in that state, highly recommended to the commission, John Henry Lewis would not fight anymore. So as this was going on, Tiger Jack Fox didn't get a shot. Al Gaynor got the fight opportunity, although he defeated Al Gaynor. But he would be stripped because he didn't fight Tiger Jack Fox. So he did not give up the light heavyweight championship belt to move up to the heavyweight division. He was stripped for not facing Tiger Jack Fox. January of 39, he would face Joe Louis because he knew his career was over. He would retire. Pretty wealthy man because he would own buildings and apartments, businesses in Harlem, New York. So that's the story of John Henry Lewis. He was a kin of Tom Molyneux. And a kin of LL Cool J. Looking at John Henry Lewis, a solid light heavyweight champion. Who took the title away from Bob Olin. Bob Olin took the title away from Maxie Rosenblum. Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs Series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Let's continue examining 100 years of world championship fights. See you in the next video. Peace.